Hello and welcome back to another episode of You Want to Do What. Today we've got Mark on. Mark's a chef. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, not too bad.
Good. Let's jump straight in there, Mark, shall we? Do you want to tell everyone a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a technical advisor for a big chocolate manufacturer called Barry Callebaut for the UK.
And how did you sort of get into that?
Well, I've been a pastry chef all my life, so ever since I left school, I always knew that I wanted to work in sort of like the pastry area of the kitchen. So I've always worked with chocolate all through my life, but always sort of like had that passion to really go for it and to work in that industry. So I went through, through the kitchen, through the different rankings in the kitchens, and then obviously up to being a chocolatier for a couple of different companies and working for myself. And then I got the opportunity to work with one of the biggest manufacturers in the world.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of like a childhood dream, isn't it? It's a bit like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of dreams. You get to work with chocolate all day. Amazing.
I know, it's absolutely fantastic, and you get, called, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Man all the time, which is great. And there's nothing better than to work with chocolate all day long.
So you started out as a pastry chef, yeah?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's good to start out as a pastry chef because you get to learn how to work with flavors, combinations of textures, flavors, things like that. So that always, can help you in the chocolate industry as well. It's a great sort of base to start from.
And how did you get into that? Did you do a college course or did you go in sort of an apprenticeship, or what was the route into being a pastry chef?
Yeah. So I did a 2 year back in the days. It was a BTEC National Diploma in Hotel and Catering.
Hmm.
So I did that. So that was basically all areas of like the hotel. So from front of house to back of house to kitchen. And then I decided I really wanted to sort of work in the pastry kitchen. So that's when I went on and did a level 3 in pastry. So that's like the start of my career.
And then you worked your way through the kind of kitchen landscape, is that right?
Yeah, so I as soon as I left college, I went straight to London. I started at the Lanesborough and Hyde Park corner. So basically jumping straight into it really,
Mm.
with the long hours. But I had a most amazing experience. It's fantastic. The things I learned from a very young age, stood me in a good light for the rest of my life really. And then just leaving the Lanesborough onto different hotels, different restaurants through my career, going up the levels to becoming a head pastry chef.
I mean, it always looks brilliant fun whenever you see it on things like Master Chef or things like that, but incredibly not stressful, but intense, working in those kind of kitchens. Did you find that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's very, very intense all the time. But I think I thrive on that tension and that excitement in a way of doing it. And I've done lots of competitions as well. So that's been very intense. So I did a World Chocolate Masters competition twice. So represented the UK twice in
Oh,
the World
wow.
Chocolate Masters. So that was great. And in 2009, I have to think back now, it was a long time ago. I was the seventh best chocolatier in the world.
Wow. That's pretty
Um,
cool.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice to say that, and nice to to remember obviously all the things that we did. So showpieces, chocolates, in an international competition was fantastic.
So
And then
what made you kind of go, "Oh, I really just want to specialize in chocolate"?
I think I get this question asked a lot, and I just, the passion for it is just immense for me. I just love chocolate. Not just to eat. Don't get me wrong. It's not just something I put in my mouth and just eat it and that's it. I mean, it's great to do that, but I love the history of it. Not always a good history, but it's a history we need to sort of remember and reflect on. Also, you know, what we can do with it. We can make a showpiece from it. 2 meter high showpiece. We can make small little individual chocolates. We can make, entremet gâteaux. We can add all types of different flavors to it, and different. There's all different types of chocolate as well, and it's just so exciting to work with fantastic ingredients.
I guess to most people, chocolate is your usual brand of chocolate, your specific bar you enjoy, but it's a bigger world than that, isn't it? The world of chocolate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. People don't realize, it's not just Cadbury's and Galaxy out there. It's, there's so much more to chocolate. There's so many independent little chocolate shops in this country that are even now making bean to bar. So they're actually buying their beans from Africa, Asia, and then making their own chocolate from scratch. And it's fantastic that they do that. And it's great. They get some really nice, interesting flavors to their chocolate.
And for you, is there a specific sort of country or a specific place that makes the best chocolate for you?
Yeah, that's a difficult question as well, because there's so many good countries and so many different types of beans out there that obviously make the chocolate. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite chocolate. Everybody said to me, "What's your favorite chocolate?" Or "What's your favorite area?" And it's really difficult because there's so many different areas that make such good chocolate. And it's what you do with those beans as well. You can buy a really good bean, but not actually make the chocolate very well. Or you can buy the same bean and actually, if you know the right process, you can make a really nice chocolate. So a lot of it's down to how it's manufactured, how it's made, not just the bean itself.
And you were on the Professional Bake Off, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So in 2016, I was sort of like looking online, and this advert came up to be on the show, and I was like, I'd done lots of competitions obviously before, so I was quite used to it, and I thought, oh, might be quite interesting to do. I'm sure it'd be very easy. It's not going to be that hard. More for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
it was very hard, but luckily I had Helen and Sam in my team, so two sort of almost ex-students that have gone on to do fantastic things that joined my team, and yeah, we went on to win the first series of it.
I mean, that must have been an incredible experience, incredibly stressful, but very rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, very stressful. Even doing a world competition, which we had like a whole year to practice for. I mean, that was nerve-wracking as enough. But yeah, doing this a TV show is completely different. It's the whole stress of the timings and very short filming. So yeah, it was probably more stressful than the World Chocolate Masters, I would say.
Really? Wow. I mean,
Yeah, not trying to
that's
put anybody else off doing it, and there's plenty of people that have done it now. But I like look back at it now, and it was such a great experience, and I am so glad that I did the show.
yeah.
It was fantastic.
Let's get stuck into sort of how you actually become a chocolatier. Is it an official title? Is there something you have to do to get that, or is it just if you really specialize in chocolate?
Yeah, I mean, there's no real sort of like a degree or anything like that to say you're a chocolatier. I think it's having the passion. It's going to learn, going on classes, looking at demos, and just sort of like practicing is the key. And then obviously, once you're good enough and you feel you're capable enough of doing a good job, then yeah, I mean, call yourself a chocolatier is great. I mean, that's what we do, and that's what we need more people doing.
Is there a bit of a shortage of chocolatiers then?
I think through the pandemic, a lot of people have been sort of like diving into it, which has been fantastic. I mean, we've had great response to some of our live demos that we've been doing, and people really sort of like looking to change career and going into chocolate because they have a passion as well for it.
Some of the art that's made out of chocolate is absolutely incredible. You almost you don't you. I would be scared to make that out of plastic and steel with machines.
Yeah, I mean, doing a 2 meter high showpiece is pretty tricky. Yeah, I mean, you've got to get. It's almost like the engineering as well, because it's all about weight. You can't have really heavy stuff at the top, but you have to have the heavy stuff at the bottom. And it's got to be evenly proportioned the weight of the showpiece as well. If not, it's going to collapse.
Is there a balance of being a chocolatier where you create these incredible showpieces, but on the other side, you've got to make these delicate, incredible chocolate flavors that just are insane and out of this world? There's kind of quite a big difference between the two, but they're sort of the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, flavor is a key thing. We all love to look at things and be wowed by looking at a showpiece, but having a chocolate there that actually tastes good as well is really important. So having a good background in sort of flavor profile, that type of thing as well, is the type of thing that you need to sort of go with, being a chocolatier. You need to be arty, but you also need that flavor sort of taste, flavored sort of profile, and in a sense, to know that to become a good chocolatier.
So let's talk about what you're currently doing, your current role, which sounds really interesting, but can you tell us a bit more about it?
So technical advisor. So basically, now what I do is I work for a big manufacturer called Barry Callebaut. It's a worldwide company. We're the biggest producer of chocolate in the world, but no one's really heard of us because we make chocolate for a lot of those companies that you have heard of.
Okay.
So what we do in the academy is we teach. So we teach anybody from I hate to say it, but sort of housewife right through to professional chef. And we also work with big manufacturers in product development, and we work with big supermarkets. We work with all of them really, to produce like the next big thing.
I think chocolate, in my opinion, was one of the first to sort of embrace doing things like fair trade, and that's obviously, from what I remember, it was one of the first to start having that impact. How have you sort of seen that develop over your time in the industry?
Oh yeah, I mean, fair trade chocolate, slave-free chocolate, all of that. It's a big thing. It's a big part of our company. The sustainability of chocolate as well is really big at the moment. So we're trying to do, everything we can to support all of that. And also, we've got a new chocolate coming out, which is called whole fruit. So now we're taking more of the actual fruit of the chocolate to actually, so we're not using cane sugar now to sweeten the chocolate. We're actually using the flesh from the inside the beans. It's quite
Oh, wow.
sweet, and we're drying that in a sense, making into, and then we're adding that back into the chocolate. So there's no added sugar to the chocolate. All the sweetness is coming from the fruit itself. So we're trying to use more of the fruit, not wasting anything. And actually, we had a big launch of it yesterday, which was fantastic. And that's, we see it as the future of chocolate. Less sugar,
Yeah.
reducing the sugar, using more of the fruit, using the husk, using all this pulp juice that we can get from the pod as well.
I think as well the other movement is obviously the veganism and people not wanting to have those dairy products. Have you seen that in the last few years change how the industry is working around chocolate as well?
Yeah, I mean, in this country, we're way ahead of a lot of other countries, to be honest, in Europe. So we're crying out for these dairy-free chocolates, and we've got some coming out this year through our company. But yeah, we do lots of demos on vegan, so because a lot of chef wants to learn more about vegan dairy-free chocolate, how they can make nice desserts using a nice milk chocolate, but obviously they can't at the moment because there's not many around. But we're there to sort of get them enthusiastic about making really nice desserts and very similar desserts that they make already, just by replacing it with the different chocolates.
So what's your job like on a daily basis? What's some of the tasks you're doing?
So we roll up in the morning, and first thing we always do is have a coffee. That's the most important thing in the morning is the coffee. And then we see what meetings we've got. We have a lot of meetings throughout the day, and that could be anything from talking to a chocolatier, talking to a chef, to talking to a big manufacturer, of how we can help them. We get a lot of emails with people having problems with tempering with the chocolates. That's getting the right crystal structure right in the chocolate. So we have to answer all their questions, and we do a lot of product development for the big customers. So that's sort of like one of our main jobs that we do. But every day is different, really. To be honest, we do live demos. So we've been doing that over sort of the COVID period, just to keep people enthusiastic in the chocolate industry while we can't do any sort of live classes. So yeah, every day is very different, and that's what's so exciting about it. That's why I love it.
It does. It sounds like a great job. If you love chocolate, what a place to be.
Yeah, and the thing is, everybody goes, "Oh, it must be a great job. You must eat it all day long." No, you don't. No, you really don't. It's you eat little bits here and there because obviously you have to taste things, but yeah, it's like anybody. Wherever you work, if it's a food manufacturer, the last thing you want to do is go home and eat more of it.
And so for you, what would be some personality traits that you see in yourself that you think have helped you thrive in this industry?
I think passion is a key. Dedication to my trade, and learning as well, and not learning from anybody. And I always say now, even though I've done world competitions, I've done TV stuff and things like that, you never stop learning, and that's what's great about this job is you never stop learning, and you can always learn from someone. And I'm always, the first person to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just learned that today," and it could be just someone has just done a thing on Instagram and basically, "Oh my God, that's a really good idea," and they could not be a professional at all, but it may be something new that they've sort of just thought of, and that's what I love about social media, and about learning, and we're there to learn and then to pass on those traits to everybody else as well. I'm not one of those chefs that keeps everything secret, and takes it to my grave. I want to tell everybody about it because it's the next generation that's coming through that we need to sort of give passion to about the job, so they end up coming into the career.
And what for you would be some of the biggest opportunities you've had out this career? I mean, I was watching James Martin, and I saw you on there, and yeah, hence I reached out. But I mean, there must be some really cool opportunities you've had in this career.
Yeah, I mean, doing the TV stuff has been great for my career. Especially doing the Bake Off, that's been fantastic. And even doing the World Chocolate Masters has been even better. So getting recognised by people, and that sort of goes from one thing to another. Meeting famous chefs and they remember you, and and inviting them onto the show like James does, which is fantastic. And gets your name out there even more, which is is brilliant.
And on the other side of that, what would be some less favorable aspects of this industry?
Yeah, I mean, hours can be long. I'm not shying away from that at all, especially at the beginning of your career. Even now I work long hours, but it never seems, because I'm so passionate about it, and I just love my job. I just don't really think about it in a sense, because every day is different, like I said, and I love what I do, and if I could work 24 hours, I probably would.
And what's something that's not in the job description, but you have to deal with every now and again?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about this question. It's a very good question. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say, recently, it's things like DIY, things like that. So, things break down in the academy, and we have to sort of like fix things there and then. And recently, by having all the new camera equipment, where I've been a chef, I don't know how to film things, I don't know how to record things, so we've had to learn like all of that from the beginning. So those things have been good, and it's been good to learn them as well, and we can see them continuing on through the years now.
And how does somebody begin to progress? So you mentioned your career, you started out as a pastry chef and then you started to specialize in chocolate. But is that a good progression route? Is that something you'd recommend?
Yeah, I mean, lots of people do it different ways, but I think it's good to go to college and get some sort of like career, certification from it. It's good to sort of learn the basics, and then don't try and get there too quickly. Learn things slowly. Slowly. It took me years to get where I am now, and and that's the best thing, because I want to learn everything as well. I want to be the best. I want to learn all those different techniques, and I think that's a good way to actually progress in this career, is to never stop learning, and sort of like start off slowly, start in hotels, which is really good, because you get to learn lots of different things in the pastry kitchen in a hotel. different to a restaurant. And then just going up the levels, moving around as well to different hotels, different restaurants, seeing how they do things, learn from the head pastry chef, and then you learn, which recipes you want to take on, and then it's when you become a head pastry chef, then you have the control of doing your own desserts, which is fantastic. So, gradually getting there is probably the best way to do it.
So if somebody's listening to this and they're interested in either being a pastry chef or a chocolatier, what's some things or some skills that you would recommend they go away and start trying to develop?
So the most important thing for a chocolatier is to learn how to temper chocolate. This is the question we get asked every single day, and everybody has problems with it. I mean, I look at it now and it's easy. I always say, it's really easy to temper chocolate, but I know that it's more of a bit of a science behind it. It's all about getting that crystal structure right in the chocolate, so it sets, you get that nice shine and that nice snap to the chocolate. So that's the key thing, is to learn how to do that, especially being a chocolatier, is to learn how to temper chocolate. And then everything else is, and I say it again, fairly easy. But getting that chocolate right, getting how to cool the chocolate right, and things like that is key. And in being a pastry chef, just learning recipes, making stuff at home, just make different recipes and learn how, you do the basic sponges. There's hundreds of different ways of making a sponge, and try and learn like as many as you can, because they're always crop up in the years in your career, but it's just good to learn straight away different techniques.
Baking pastries especially, how much of it is a balance between science and sort of feel? Like it's one of those things where you could potentially put everything to like a decimal point of you do this and you get it right, but then I'm pretty sure a majority of top pastry chefs are probably, they just know by this point.
Yeah, I mean, weighing is really important. It doesn't matter how good you are, if you haven't weighed it properly, then obviously it's not going to work. And I always say to people, 2-3 grams out don't really matter. I know some people will say different to that, but life's too short. So so weighing is really important. And feel, you get to learn how how a mixture should feel as well, and that all comes with practice, that one. So weighing is fairly easy because obviously it's standard on a scales, but learning how something should be, like when someone says, can you semi-whip that cream for me, well, how long is that on the mixer, and I need to, how long is it? Well, it's just semi-whipped, but that's what you've got to learn, is what is semi-whipped. Does that mean? So that is a lot about texture, so feeling with the whisk what semi-whipped is to full whipped, in a sense.
So this is a terrible cliche question, I'm sure everybody asks you this, but what dessert would you be making if you could make any dessert that was chocolate based?
Oh, is it chocolate based? So what dessert would I would probably, I really like a chocolate fondant. I know it's really boring, but I love the intense chocolate flavor you get from a hot chocolate fondant with a nice gooey center, with just classic vanilla ice cream that goes with it. Would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And would you still go into this industry knowing everything you know now?
Yeah, I think I would go into this industry. I think it's getting more exciting. I think things are changing in this industry for the better. Like I said before, with sustainability, the dairy free, this whole fruit chocolate, it's a very exciting time to be in this industry, because things are changing very quickly at the moment, and it's very exciting. And yeah, I'd never do anything else, I don't think.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on, Mark. It's been really interesting to hear about a real life Willy Wonka.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And where can people find you if they want to reach out and find what you're up to?
So they can reach out for us on the Academy website. So that's the UK Chocolate Academy website, and on our Instagram as well. And they can see all the live classes. They're all free as well. All our live classes are free, so they can just register and they can just download all the classes we've done before Christmas, and get sort of like a bit of passion and a bit of sort of training from that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No worries. Thank you.